Welcome to another video about life in Portugal, and this video is especially about life in a resort. The idea of making a Q&A video about life in a resort is because a lot of people, well, some people are sending me questions about how is life in a resort, and especially how is life in a resort after I have lived here for a couple of months. As you probably know, we came up here in January and now it's May and now I can have a better understanding and an opinion about how it's actually the life in a resort. And this video is especially dedicated to one of my followers who sent a very thoughtful and very lovely email in March, and up until now I really didn't have the chance and the opportunity to respond. So I'm taking this opportunity now. This lovely subscriber is Esme or Esmeralda. She is from South Africa and she is thinking of moving in Portugal. She says in her email that we have a lot in common, and we do, because at the end of April she has also her birthday. Happy birthday, Esme! It was also my birthday at the end of April because we both are Taurus as a zodiac sign. So yeah, happy birthday, even if a little late, and thank you so much for sending me that email and giving me the opportunity to make this video. I want to say that I'm also a foodie. Food is very important to me and I get fat a lot. I don't know if you can see, but since I'm in Portugal, I got fatter. And this is despite of the fact that here I do a lot more exercise that I do in my country, but here, I don't know, I just get fatter and fatter. She says that I made living in a resort quite interesting. So now she's considering with her husband moving into a resort, and she has the following questions. Quinta do Lago and Val do Lobo. How noisy it is with the air traffic being so near of Faro Airport? Well, this is a very interesting question because air traffic here is a concern. Because of everything that happened in the world, of course, we didn't have much air traffic, much noise, because the planes weren't flying. But I can tell you about my experience from the past year when I came here, I don't know, in 2018, I think it was, or 2019, I don't know exactly. And it was quite a bit of noise. Yes, and there are a lot of planes going around. The problem is that they are supposed to go, the planes, all the way to Albufeira and turn around there and fly in the direction they are supposed to fly. But they are not doing that because I understand the planes now are more I don't know, they are more advanced and they reach 5,000 meters altitude faster. And this 5,000 meter altitude is reached right about here in Val do Lobo resort, and this is the fact that is causing the noise, not the fact that the airplanes are passing beyond our resort, but the fact that the airplanes are turning around right here above the Val do Lobo resort. And why I know all of this is because Val do Lobo resort has this brochure, POA bulletin, which is Property Owner Association. So Property Owner Association, they are meeting once a year and they are discussing different problems, and this problem is discussed also about the noise. And this Property Owners Association, actually they did some things about this noise above the resort, and they are meeting with the representative of the Faro Airport, asking them, they have petitions there, asking them to change the route of the airplanes. Of course, the initial response was no, and then I understand that they are asking then just to respect the rules. Okay, you don't want to modify for us the route of the planes, fine, but at least the planes have to respect the point, the mark that which was established, I understand by law, that the planes have to fly all the way to Albufeira and turn around there. And now they are saying, let me see here, they are saying this: Aircraft noise over Vâdulă, Valdulobo. They are talking about an update of the situation. After a number of meetings with various authorities and numerous correspondence, there have been little change in the instances of aircraft flying low and turning over the Valdulobo. They are explaining like aircraft taking off from Faro start turning once they get 5,000 feet, although they are supposed to wait until they reach the beacon point, which is in Albufeira. Someone from the Valdulobo Association reported that the next step in the process was to engage with a consulting company who would collect data on the planes flying over Valdulobo so we could get back to the authorities with solid data. So I understand the authorities, they just don't pay much attention of the efforts of these people, and they asked for solid data, not only opinions of the fact that it's noisy here. I'm very pleased to the fact that there is a property association owners and there are a lot of people here, these people who are very involved and hardworking. But for me personally, the noise is not a concern. I mean, the noise in general is a concern, but I happened to be here in 2018 or 19, I don't know exactly, and the noise, it's not such a big deal because there are airplanes, but it's not like you are in Nice. I don't know if someone watching this was in Nice, and you know, when you are sitting on the beach in Nice, in France, you have like 30 seconds between the airplanes, and the noise, it's very, very loud. Here it is noisy, but not so much. These people are more preoccupied about improving the quality of life more than just taking care of a problem that it's not bearable. So the sound is bearable, at least for me, and I'm that type of person who doesn't stand sound. But the sound of aircraft, it's loud, but it's not something, I don't know, a deal breaker, at least in my opinion. At the end of the day, you just have to come and stay here and see for yourself if it's something that really bothers you. Okay, so this is the full story of the Faro airplanes turning around here above the Valdulobo resort. Another question is renting your place during summer. It is a resort requirement. Must you do it, or can it stay empty? Do you rent it yourself, or does the resort do it? A lot of questions, and they are right on point because we are going to rent the apartment this summer. We wanted the apartments on the market even before this summer, even before last year, but last year nobody was here, the tourism wasn't permitted, and when last year the country opened, we were here and we were staying here during the summer. So this 2021 is going to be the first year when we rent out our apartment, and of course I'm going to make a full video, maybe even a series of videos about how it's going, how much money it is, not only the price, because the asking price is on the internet, everybody could see, but the expenses, how much the company, we don't rent it ourselves, we have a company, Vegan Villas, who is in charge of that, and they are finding the clients. This was very important to me, to have someone to find the clients, because I don't have the time to do that or the expertise. They are finding the clients, they are managing the apartment while we are not here, and they are coming and making the checkouts, and they are dealing with the clients. We don't even know who the clients are. The clients don't know who we are. We are not getting in contact. If there is any problem, this company, Vegan Villas, are dealing with it. Of course, for that, they are charging a commission, sizable commission, I would say. Actually, I wouldn't say that, but other people said it, because I was talking about this with other people, and they say, wow, they are charging you a lot. Well, it is a lot, but is the commission that I received for other companies, so they are not charging more than other companies. Is a sizable charge, but it's what it is practiced here, especially if the company brings you clients, because you can work in several ways. You can work only for the check-in and check-outs and the management of the apartment, but you put your bookings on booking.com or other platforms, and you are in charge of the customers. And of course, in that case, the commission is going to be much lower. But we are for the first time in Portugal. We don't know how things work. We don't know about the paperwork, because there are a lot of paperwork that you have to do. You have to report the visits to SEF. I think SEF it is, I don't know exactly, but there are a lot of paperwork involved. And for the first and second year, and maybe forever, I don't know how much years we are going to rent the apartment before we can renovate it and move here permanently. We don't know if it's going to be 2 or 3 or 5 years. I don't think I want to take on this to do it myself. So for the time being, I think we are going to work with these people. So this resort, I don't know about other resorts, but this resort, Val do Lobo, doesn't oblige you, doesn't force you to rent your apartment. By all means, no. And also, it doesn't force you, if you rent your apartment, to rent through them, because I know other resorts, they are forcing you to use them. If you want to rent your apartment, fine, but you have to use their company. Here, it's not a thing like that. There are multiple companies working through property management companies working throughout the resort, so it's not a monopoly. There is not just one company working here, and I think it's good to have competition and to choose whatever level of services do you want, and the prices, because there are different prices, you know. If you are working with Val do Lobo property management, prices are sky high. And of course they are sky high because they are preferring to work with people who are having more expensive houses, villas, $1 million villas, and of course the prices are for that sort of people who are also requires different kind of property management. We are entry-level apartments, the cheapest apartment you can find here in the resort, and we need someone more flexible with the prices, and we work with these guys from Vegan Villas. It's not a resort requirement. We chose to do that because when we bought this apartment, we said from the beginning that we are going to treat it like an investment because we have a mortgage to pay. It can stay empty. A lot of houses here are empty, a lot of them, big villas, apartments everywhere, so they are empty for maybe years. Not only they are coming here, people to stay just a few weeks, and then they don't want to rent their apartments because they don't want to receive strangers in the house. They are renovated and big and beautiful houses, and they are just for the owners. And if we would have a lot of money, we would do the same. We would not rent. The third question is about space. Some apartments we looked at lack the most important thing, storage space like cellar or something. Why? Well, the houses, the big $1 million houses, multiple $1 million houses, they don't lack anything. But the apartments are lacking storage because the houses here are thought as vacation houses. People are thinking about the Algarvian houses like vacation spots, not really houses to live the entire year. Only in recent years people are coming, recent years like 10, 20 years, people are coming and are moving here. Yes, the apartments here are looked at and constructed like vacation homes. This is one of the reasons why they don't have proper insulation. Of course, the cost of these apartments has to be low when it is constructed, but when they constructed it back when they didn't insulate the houses, because during the summer you don't need much insulation. I wouldn't agree with that, but this is what they say. Of course, the newer apartments that are built right now, they are built with proper insulation, they are built with underfloor heating, with all the commodities. So maybe you would want to buy something that is newly constructed. Of course, something newly constructed in a resort is a sky-high price. I don't know your budget, but for us it was untouchable. Another question about renting the property. If you rent your property, what happens to all your stuff? Where do you store it? And then she says that she wants to do what we do. We are living here a couple of months. a year, and the other couple of months we are living home. So practically we have 2 homes in which we live. We don't have a vacation home. And how do we do that? How do we treat that? I will respond to that, but first I want to tell you that the first time when I saw that people actually renting their homes with their stuff in it, I mean not renting the homes that are especially designed for renting, but actually people renting the homes with their stuff in it, it was in London. And a friend of ours was kindly inviting us to share with him and his wife a villa he was renting in the west side of London, something like that. And it was a home, an entire villa that he was renting for a period of, I don't know, 1 week or something like that. And we stayed there. And the owner of the house, he left not only his clothes in the armoire, not only his personal stuff in the house like pictures and books and everything, he left the food in the fridge. I mean the actual his food in the fridge. And that for me was wow. I mean we Romanians are coming from a culture where the home is something sacred for us. You don't get in my home if we are not good friends. You take your shoes out when you enter my home. You keep very clean when you are in my home. You don't eat on the couch. You don't do that. I eat on the couch in my home. You as a guest, you don't do that. You are sitting only in the place when I put you to sit and you don't move. You don't visit my house, and for sure you are not eating my food from my fridge. You are eating what I bring to the table. So we are very private like that, and we don't receive people in the house very often. We have to be very, very good friends. So for me to come from this culture and go into this man's house who is renting it, not like he said what I'm going to do with all my stuff, but with the food in the fridge, and he actually left a note saying, don't touch this part of the fridge, this is my food. Oh my God, I mean, who would eat someone else's food? It's not hygienic. But when I saw that, I kind of had a shift in my way of seeing things, because I said to myself, look, this is how these people are making the money. So if I want money from renting, and if I want to buy this house I couldn't afford from my own money and I had to take a mortgage, I have to make some compromises. I have to shift my mindset and do some things that I didn't do before, and come out of my comfort zone and do something if I want this house, because I cannot afford it from my money. So I thought about even then, which was way before buying this house here, that if I would buy a house and I would be forced to rent it, I would have to make some changes in my mindset and some sacrifices. Of course, I'm not going to rent my house with the food in the fridge. The fridge would be completely clean and without food in it. And all of my clothes, I'm going to pack all of my stuff and my clothes in bags, and I have a designated storage armoire that it's locked and only I have the key, and all my stuff, they are going to be put there. And the apartment, it's going to be as if for renting, minus that space. I want to make it as comfortable as I can for the people who are coming here, because I didn't felt good going into that person's house and see all the things there. Of course, from the stalker point of view, it's nice to go in a house and see the pictures and imagine the life of that person, but it was a little bit uncomfortable, and I don't want to create that environment, and I wouldn't feel good to rent a house with my stuff in it, because at the end of the day I wouldn't feel okay to come to my clothes and my stuff and knowing that there had been touched by other people. Like I said, Romanian mentality. So no, I'm going to clean and store all of my stuff in a place where I have a locket. And this was not my idea. This idea was implemented by the previous owners of this apartment, and I found this place with a locket and I'm just going to use it. And the last question from Esme is, it is possible for us to rent long term? Because she says she doesn't know if she wants to live in an area or another area, and she thinks about renting long term in an area, explore, and then buying a house. And from my point of view and my experience, I can say the best thing that you can do is to rent long term before buying a property. Why? Because this is how you can actually validate the spot that you think you want to stay. For us, even with all the problems and everything that's happened, and we have a lot of problems and a lot of unexpected things, problems that we didn't have in our country but we have here. And even with that, we are lucky to say that after living here 5 months, we are not sorry buying in this place, but it might not be your case. So the best thing you can do is rent long term, stay as much as possible in an area before buying. So it is definitely possible to rent here long term during these trying times for the ones who are renting their homes. They put out on the market, the agency, long-term rentals. Even us, we got a proposal because we didn't have clients last year to rent this apartment long-term. We didn't agree, but the fact is that there are a lot of long-term rentals. Esme also asked what happens if they are away for 3 months when they are long renting. Well, you would have to pay the rent. It would be like no difference for the owner, because you are required to pay the rent even if you are not here. This is the essence of long-term renting. Besides that, nothing would happen. It would be like leaving your home for 3 months, like we left our home. Of course, someone is watching our home when we are away, but nevertheless, maybe you can get a security camera, or maybe the apartment already has a security camera if this is your concern. But nothing would happen apart from the fact that you would have to cover the expenses if you are renting long term. Of course, if you are renting long term, I would suggest to rent or in an area that you are keen on it. For example, if you want to live in this resort or another resort, of course, rent long term there, because the whole scope is to test if that resort is okay for you and what could be the potential problems. But if you are not keen on I don't know, a specific place, just rent at the middle of Algarve, like Albufeira, Guia, so you could easily visit all the Algarve, all the towns, if you are still looking for a preferred area. These are all the questions from Esme, and adding up to the theme of this video, I would like to add some consideration of my own regarding of the noise in this resort, because at the beginning we talked about the airplanes. My opinion is that when you are moving into a place, and something that we also discovered while we were here and staying long term, is that you think the noise comes from one place, like the planes, but in fact the noise comes from totally unexpected places, like for example, people that during the summertime there are a lot of people here. This is a resort and a lot of tourism, and people are making noise, but also when like now, when they are not people, I have to shut down the filming like 2 hours because they are cutting the grass. Or different villas have maintenance firms who are using that thing that you blow leaves with, and it makes such an incredible loud noise. Or there are construction all over the resort. So my main concern would not be the airplanes, would be the actual people who are making the noise in different forms. And why is this more bothering than the airplanes is because, there are airplanes, you can do nothing about that, but you are expecting to come into this serene 5-star resort, and you are getting the life and the treatment that you are getting in a I don't know, big town, and you are start wondering why did you move here? You are expecting all this serene place and I don't know, to people to respect each other's privacy and each other's lives. But the fact of the matter is that people are acting here like they would act at their homes in the big cities, because this is what they are used to do. On top of that, we have the ongoing construction, the never-ending constructions, and of course the maintenance of the resort with all the cutting grass, and they are not using the most newer appliances, and the noise is more disturbing than the airplanes itself. Another thing that I didn't expect to find here, I heard about being a problem all over Portugal, but I thought that in a resort it will not be a problem, is the dog owners who are not taking care of the waste of the dogs. From this point of view, Val do Lobo has a problem, because there are a lot of people here with dogs who are not respecting the rules, even if Val do Lobo puts signs everywhere. This is how big the problem become. They put actual signs, take care of the dog waste, and they're also putting at your disposal the bags, so you don't even have to have the bags. They give it to you for free. But the people don't clean up after their dogs, and it's a real nuisance to step into dog poop and to walk to this beautiful scenery and just see dog poop all over, and not only on the sidewalk but also on the golf course, which is absolutely gross. And I don't know why they are letting dogs on the golf course. I don't think dogs or any animals should be on the golf course running or doing things there. Also, at the beginning when I bought in this resort, I read the rules, and the rules specifically said that you are not allowed to have animals. I don't know if because of the pandemic and everything, now they are allowing you to have animals, or I don't know if I just misread something and this in fact is not true. But the fact of the matter is that a lot of people have dogs and they don't clean after them, and the dogs also make noise. They leave the dogs in the house and they bark all day. This is, oh my God, I think it's also against the law to leave a dog in the house for so many hours. I don't know about that, but they are making a lot of noise. So at the end of the day, a resort is not a guarantee that it's such a serene place. Of course, 90% of the time, like maybe 95% of the time, the life here is very good and serene and peaceful. But there are those days, like today, or other days when it's completely, you are wondering, oh my God, maybe I was better off in a city or something. At least there I didn't have to pay the extra cost for living in a resort, you know. Maybe not all resorts are like that. Maybe if you go further west, people are more polite or more Portuguese, I don't know. But here in Val do Lobo, I don't know exactly about Quinta do Lago. In Quinta do Lago, I had more positive experience, but not only positive. But here, because I live here and I see every day the noise, and it's not really 100% serene and 5-star experience. This is why you think you have a problem because you read on the internet the airplanes or this or that, but in fact when you come to live here, there are totally different problems that you expect, and these problems are somehow subjective, you know. Maybe another person wouldn't have a problem with the dog waste because they have a dog and they used to do the same thing, and maybe for them it's something they are not bothered, or maybe they are not bothered by the sound of the thing that you cut grass with. I don't know. This is why you cannot take my word for it or what you read in a glossy magazine. You have to come and sit here. If I wouldn't have to film this today, when I saw that the men wouldn't stop with the noise, I could have just got in my car and drove somewhere and have a nice lunch. But I had a job to do and I had to film today. The same if I have to work. So you are kind of constrained by your personal situation, and you have to come here and live your daily life and assess if it's something that you can and want to live with, or you are better off someplace else. If you enjoy this type of videos, please send me emails with questions about Portugal, about the resort life, about properties, about everything that you can think of, and I will turn them into videos because there are other people interested and with the same concern as you. Until next time, don't forget to stay safe, enjoy Portugal, enjoy life wherever you are, and I will see you in my next one. Bye!